Hey, what's happening? So I haven't done one of these videos in quite a while, largely because, I'll be perfectly honest, life's been fine and there hasn't been anything that's stuck in me craw enough to make me want to sit down and speak to you directly about stuff. But straight up, just for complete clarification purposes and transparency, I was approached by Be Gamble Aware. They've got a new scheme run at the moment, which is hashtag Can We Have Our Ball Back. The main focus of this is trying to get back to the heart of what makes football important to us, and that is, football at its most fundamental. That's kicking a ball around, having fun, enjoying the game, enjoying our passions, and not focusing on the things that become ancillary and, to be fair, all pervading in modern day football. Things like the gambling, like as though gambling and putting your racket on, everyone, loads and loads of people do it. It's an important part of your footballing culture, but it shouldn't be the be all and end all. You shouldn't be having your weekend ruined by gambling on the football. And to be fair, not just the gambling, all the other stuff that goes around it in this modern world. Listen, if your weekend is going to be ruined, let it be ruined by your football team being rubbish, the way it's always been, the way it always should be at any level of the game, whether that's playing with your mates and getting beaten by your mates, whether it's playing Sunday League football and getting battered because half your team doesn't turn up, been in all of those situations, or the team, of course, whether it's the highest level of football in the Premier League, in the Champions League, or, in the lower reaches of non-league, etc., that the football should always come first. So look, there's a link in the description underneath. There's a fantastic little video they've done there, which I just thought was really, really well produced, and I'm a massive snob when it comes to online video production, which you wouldn't know by the quality sometimes I put into mine, but there you go. So check out the video description to read more about that. But what it's done is it's sparked something in me, if I'm perfectly honest, and it's something that's kind of been bubbling under the surface for a while, so this kind of married quite nicely for me, is that football for me, and why I love football and why I've loved football for 30 years that I've been going to Anfield, is not because of the destination, it's because of the ride. There'll be people who balk at that notion because we are being conditioned in the media to think that football is about the trophies you win and not the ways in which you go about constructing a season. And I'll give you a great example of this. Look, Liverpool right now are top of the Premier League. I just wanted to drop that in there, to be honest. But top of the Premier League, and have just qualified out of the Champions League group. Ask me for my moment of the season. Now, it should be beating Bournemouth 4-0, then Man City losing and Liverpool going top of the league. It's not. It's Everton's goalkeeper dropping a ball on the line and Divock Origi cropping up with a 96th minute winner in the Merseyside derby. That's a game that was 30 seconds away from just being meh, from just being nothing, from just being a bit flat and a bit disappointing. And what we were given in that game was arguably the greatest Merseyside derby moment of all time. Of all time. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. These are the moments around which my love of football is constructed. Listen, I've been fortunate for my time to see Liverpool win a lot of silverware, and although they've not been anything like the team they were in the 70s and the 80s, which just made Liverpool a bit of a hashtag banter club or whatever, in terms of the vast majority of football fans and what they get to see in terms of silverware, I have been incredibly privileged. I've seen Liverpool win cup after cup after cup, and I've seen a few of those trophies lifted with my own eyes in the flesh at Wembley, at Cardiff, etc., etc. And those moments will stay with me forever. Of course they will. They're amazing moments. Seeing your team lift silverware. There are a few better things in life than seeing your team win a trophy, of course. But if you were to solely base your enjoyment around seeing your team lift those trophies, you would be very, very miserable for the vast majority of life, because ultimately, look, there's only 4 trophies. For Premier League teams, there's 4 trophies each year in which you enter into. And of those 4 trophies, how many of the teams that enter into those competitions actually get to win them on a consistent basis? You've got your outliers, you get your Leicesters winning the league as a, or your Blackburns winning the league as a bolt from the blue, as a periodic thing. But past that, you're not a great deal. Look, we're only a week removed from a situation where Liverpool could have gone undefeated for the entire season. They could have gone invincible for the first time since Arsenal Football Club did it, and finished second in the league to Manchester City. Would that be a disappointing season? It would be disappointing to be so good and not win the league. But contextually, to be able to go that far and go that good, you've actually got to tip your hat to the other team, the team that's been better than you. It would be an absolute kick in the balls, but you couldn't be angry. You couldn't demand more from your own football team. And this is the problem. This is the big issue we've got around modern football, is the expectation, and all the stuff around it, I think, detracts from what football should be at its heart. And the beauty of football at its heart is that it's exactly the same game that you and I can go. We can go and pick a football up. We can go and get another 20 mates together, and we can go and have a game in the park now, and we can get an enjoyment, and we can score a wonder goal, and we can have daft mistakes, and we can all go together at the end, and we can pick apart all the best and the worst moments and have a laugh and share that common bond. Think Christmas Day, think World War II, think meeting in no man's land, all those things. Cliches around football, but the cliches for a reason. The things that I love most about football, as I say, it's those moments of magic, it's the stories, it's the art to football that's what gets me off. Because if my support of football was entirely dependent on winning silverware, or my fantasy football team being good, or a bet that I put on, like I needed any of those things in order to secure my happiness, for me personally, I don't think that's a very healthy attitude to have. And look, I'm aware of the hypocrisy of me sitting here and decrying a gambling culture around football, which I'm not doing, by the way. I'm not trying to say don't gamble, because if it's part of your culture, if it makes you happy, if you enjoy, if you get a little bit of enjoyment and you get a flutter from having a flutter, don't take those things away from you. Don't take enjoyable things away from you. But if it becomes the be all and end all, we've got to remember what it is we're into football for in the first place. We are supporters, we are fans, we are fanatics of our football team. We support our team whether they win, lose or draw. We don't turn up to watch the wins, we turn up to watch the performance, and we should be getting annoyed when the performance level doesn't match. But again, you can come up against a team and it goes in off someone's arse and they win, and you've got to laugh. Maybe you cry first, but ultimately you've got to laugh, because you know that, for the grace of God, those things can go your way as well. And that is why football is so good for me. That's what stands it apart from all other sports, and why I enjoy other sports. I don't mind cricket, I don't mind tennis, I don't mind rugby and NFL and all these things. They're all fine. But the magic and the uniqueness and the brilliance of football, that you can construct the side on £1 billion, you can pour countless tens and hundreds of thousands of pounds into wage bills, and you can gather together the best players from across the world and put them into your 11, and some lad can kick it off, some lad's behind, it can end up in the bottom corner, and that team, constructed of basic nobodies, can win that match. And that is why I absolutely love football. But look, I appreciate, as I say, I do appreciate the hypocrisy, because I work now in an industry that is dominated by gambling. I own Redmen TV as well. Redmen TV has had a gambling partner for a year and a half prior to this one. I mean, it's also been sponsored by Vans and ice cream, which are great things as well, of course. But you can see it's there on everything. It's there on every blog post. It's there on every other Twitter post. It's there on YouTube channels. It's there on the advertising horns. It's there in the adverts in between the televised coverage. Gambling is being forced on you as though it is an essential part of football, as though if you do not gamble, if you do not have something on this match, somehow you are missing out. You are not missing out. You are missing out on nothing. Football is its own reward. Goals, great pieces of skills, nutmegs, last-ditch tackles, goalkeepers, big bearded, beautiful Brazilian goalkeepers making point-blank saves to make sure that you beat Napoli and progress out the Champions League. These are the things that are essential about football. Everything else is just an addition. Like me talking about football, like fan channels, all these things are just added things to football. If you can use them to add to your enjoyment, absolutely fantastic. Look, I'm not a gambling man. I have a weird superstition where if I felt like I was gaining money off Liverpool, it would limit the chances of Liverpool winning. Like, I get so much enjoyment from seeing Liverpool win that somehow I am jinxing it and compromising it by trying to also get dough off it as well. Sometimes I do, and like I say, I'm not a big gambling man. Same way that I'm not a big drinker. Another big thing that's massive around football as well. It is a necessary evil to some extent in obviously helping to support the industries that do surround it. So these industries do help to keep fan channels running, so they do have their time and place in that regard. But it's worth, again, it's just worth mentioning that these things are what they are. They are a side attraction to the main event. The main event is fellas or women or any combination therein kicking a football and sticking it in the rectangular thing and then going absolutely mad. In your celebrations for those things. That is the beauty of football. That is the heart of football, and that is why I genuinely love football. And that's why I've been going to football for 30 odd years, and I will be taking my kids when they're ready to go, and hopefully they'll take their grandkids. And it's a shared bond. It's something that me and my dad have got. My dad had with his dad, and his dad before him, and I'll hopefully have with my son and my daughter moving forward as well. So yeah, I really like this campaign by Be Gamble Aware. If you want to find out more, please do watch the video. I do highly recommend the video. I said it's a very well put together thing, and it's got a real evocative feel to it as well. Something I think we can all relate to. If anyone's ever picked up a football in the streets or in the gym or on the schoolyard or whatever, you should be able to get something from that. But yeah, let me know what you think have been the moments of the season, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not. For me, nothing's topping Divock Origi. Drop a like on the video if you agree with me, disagree with me, thoughts on anything I've discussed as well in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more as well. There's vlogs from a whole host of Liverpool games this season and more of these opinion pieces as well. Much appreciated on the road to 60,000 subscribers. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you all soon.